9th, Jeju Air Flight 2216, a Boeing 737-800 carrying 179 souls, took off from Seoul, South Korea, destined for Jeju International Airport. It was meant to be a routine domestic flight, a short hop across the country, but fate, it seemed, had other plans. As the plane made its final approach to Jeju, a sense of normalcy pervaded the cabin. Passengers chatted amongst themselves, lost in books, or perhaps stealing a glance at the approaching coastline. The crew, seasoned professionals, prepared for what should have been a textbook landing. Then, without warning, the unthinkable happened. The plane, just moments from touching down, lurched violently. Passengers, caught off guard, gripped their armrests, their eyes wide with fear. The calm of the cabin was shattered by screams and the unsettling groans of metal under immense stress. The plane, its trajectory now a terrifying descent, slammed into the runway with bone-jarring force. Flames, fueled by jet fuel and broken dreams, erupted from the mangled wreckage, consuming everything in their path. Emergency responders raced towards the inferno, desperate to pull survivors from the blaze. But the intensity of the fire, coupled with the catastrophic nature of the impact, left little room for hope. In the end, there were no survivors. 179 lives were extinguished in an instant, leaving behind a trail of unimaginable grief and a nation grappling with the enormity of the loss. The crash of Jeju Air Flight 2216 stands as the deadliest aviation disaster of 2024, a chilling reminder of the fragility of life and the unforgiving nature of the skies. The investigation into the crash is still ongoing, a painstaking process of piecing together the fragments of a tragedy. Deep in the heart of the Brazilian Amazon, where the emerald canopy stretches as far as the eye can see, a different kind of tragedy unfolded on August 9th. Voepass Flight 2283, an ATR 72-500 turboprop aircraft carrying 62 passengers and crew, was on a routine flight from Manaus to Barcelos, a journey that had been made countless times before. The flight path took the plane over vast swaths of dense rainforest, a testament to the vital role aviation plays in connecting remote communities in this part of the world. On board were families returning home after trips to the city, businessmen heading for meetings, and perhaps a few adventurers seeking the untouched beauty of the Amazon. As the plane cruised at an altitude of around 20,000 feet, the passengers settled into the rhythm of the flight, lulled by the drone of the engines and the occasional glimpses of the breathtaking landscape below. The crew, experienced in navigating the unique challenges of flying in the Amazon, went about their duties with quiet professionalism. Then, without warning, the plane entered a terrifying phenomenon known as a flat spin. Imagine, if you will, an aircraft spiraling downwards like a maple seed, its wings no longer providing lift, its descent becoming a terrifying freefall. The reasons for this sudden catastrophic maneuver remain shrouded in mystery. Some speculate a sudden and severe microburst, a localized downdraft with the power to toss a plane around like a leaf in a hurricane. Others point to possible mechanical failure, a sudden loss of control that left the pilots battling against forces beyond their control. The plane, its descent now an uncontrolled plummet, slammed into the unforgiving jungle canopy below. The impact, cushioned only by the dense foliage, ripped the aircraft apart, scattering debris across a wide area. Miraculously, amidst the carnage, there were survivors. 12 souls, pulled from the wreckage by a combination of luck and sheer determination, lived to tell their harrowing tales. 8,243. A shadow of conflict. On December 25th, as the world marked Christmas Day, a chilling reminder of the fragility of peace unfolded over the skies of Kazakhstan. Azerbaijan Airlines Flight 8,243, carrying 38 passengers and crew, was on a routine flight from Baku, Azerbaijan, to Almaty, Kazakhstan. The flight path took the aircraft over the Caspian Sea, a vast inland body of water that separates Europe and Asia. On board were businessmen, families, and individuals returning home after trips abroad, their thoughts likely on the festivities awaiting them upon arrival. As the plane cruised at its designated altitude, a sense of normalcy pervaded the cabin. Passengers chatted, read books, or perhaps stole glances at the vast expanse of the Caspian Sea below. The crew, seasoned professionals, went about their duties with quiet efficiency. Then, without warning, tragedy struck. A deafening explosion ripped through the aircraft, tearing a gaping hole in its fuselage. The force of the blast sent shockwaves throughout the cabin, tossing passengers about like rag dolls and causing rapid decompression. Those who survived the initial explosion found themselves in a terrifying fight for survival. Oxygen masks dropped from the ceiling, but the cabin was rapidly losing pressure. The plane, its once smooth flight now a terrifying descent, began to plummet towards the unforgiving waters below. Amidst the chaos and terror, a glimmer of hope emerged. The pilots, their training kicking in despite the horrific circumstances, managed to transmit a mayday call, their voices strained but resolute. They fought valiantly to regain control of the crippled aircraft, desperately trying to buy precious seconds for the passengers and crew. But the damage was too severe. The plane, its systems failing, continued its relentless descent, its trajectory now a terrifying arc towards the unforgiving surface of the Caspian Sea. The impact was catastrophic. The plane, its fuselage shattered, slammed into the water with unimaginable force, sending a plume of debris high into the air. The investigation into the crash of Azerbaijan Airlines Flight 8243 quickly focused on a chilling possibility: a missile strike. The year 2024 began with a tragedy that sent shockwaves through the aviation world. On January 2nd, under a clear morning sky, a Japan Airlines Airbus A350, one of the most advanced passenger aircraft in the world, was involved in a catastrophic mid-air collision with a Japan Coast Guard aircraft near Tokyo's Haneda Airport. The Japan Airlines flight, carrying over 300 passengers and crew, was on a routine domestic flight from Tokyo to Sapporo, a bustling city on the northern island of Hokkaido. The flight was filled with families returning home after the New Year holidays, business travelers heading for meetings, and tourists eager to experience the winter beauty of Hokkaido. The Japan Coast Guard aircraft, a twin-engine turboprop, was on a routine patrol mission, its crew tasked with monitoring maritime traffic and responding to any emergencies in the busy waters around Tokyo Bay. The two aircraft, operating under the watchful eyes of air traffic control, should have passed each other with ample clearance. But in a terrifying instant, the unthinkable happened. The two aircraft, their paths converging at a horrifying angle, collided with a sickening crunch of metal against metal. The impact, witnessed by horrified onlookers on the ground, sent shockwaves across the aviation industry and beyond. The Airbus A350, its fuselage breached, began to lose altitude rapidly, its pilots battling desperately to maintain control. The Japan Coast Guard aircraft, its smaller size no match for the force of the impact, broke apart in mid-air, scattering debris across a wide area. On board the Japan Airlines flight, chaos erupted. Passengers, jolted by the impact, clung to their seats, their faces etched with terror as the cabin depressurized and the oxygen masks dropped from the ceiling. The crew, their training kicking in despite the unimaginable circumstances, began emergency procedures, their voices calm but firm as they tried to reassure the terrified passengers. The pilots of the stricken Airbus, their skills tested to the limit, managed to transmit a mayday call, their voices strained but determined as they fought to keep the plane aloft. They knew that time was running out, that their only hope was to somehow guide the crippled aircraft to an emergency landing. 2024 has been a year of unimaginable loss for the aviation industry. We've seen the devastating consequences of mechanical failures, human error, and the chilling reality of conflict spilling over into the skies. These tragedies serve as a stark reminder of the delicate balance between the marvel of flight and the ever-present potential for disaster. Do you think aviation is getting more dangerous? Let us know in the comments. And if you found this video insightful, please give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and subscribe to our channel for more in-depth analysis of the events that shape our world.